Today we got the key to the brand new 992 Porsche GT3, Porsche's newest addition in their iconic GT3 line. The 992 is a massive improvement over the 991 generation, featuring a wider car, a heavier car, but a faster car. And they make it faster because of a few interesting weight-saving techniques, as well as brand new active aero in the rear diffuser and this gorgeous new SwanNeck-like wing. At its max setting, this car will do 150% more downforce than the 991 GT3. The SwanNeck wing, bigger surfaces on the area underneath the bottom of the wing, creates more aero. And in addition to that, it's adjustable. So this normal setting can actually be bumped down a few millimeters, and in turn, you get about 100% more downforce in that setting versus the stock setting. In addition to that, you have an active rear diffuser in the back that has these awesome gauges, kind of like almost shark fin-like views or look to them that increase downforce as well. I like the new back of these 992 Porsches. Some people say that they're too busy or that, there's too much going on, but in general, I like the modern look. The car definitely appears to be, more sporty in the rear, in addition to its just overall look and feel of the car. This 992 GT3 is fitted with a optional carbon fiber roof, optional exterior mirrors in carbon fiber, which look fantastic in my opinion, and this spec is just absolutely gorgeous. And I actually especially like the red lip around these wheels. Moving on up to the front, Porsche fitted this model with the optional PDLS, Porsche Dynamic Lighting System Plus, with X-Sight. It's an LED matrix system, provides a lot more brightness around those bends and turns when you're driving at night. Additionally, the speed of this car was enhanced over previous models because of its use of carbon fiber reinforced plastic, which you can see here. Hopefully the camera is picking that up. It's much lighter than carbon fiber, and that adds a bit more speed. Additionally, you have these awesome cutouts which push air down into the intercooler here through these slots. From a storage perspective, you can fit a decent sized suitcase for sure in the front. Most large carry-on suitcases will fit here. Overall, I like the front as well. You have a different shape to the overall design. You have your DRLs underneath with all these bits that are filtering aero into the brakes or creating more downforce. A front adjustable manual diffuser in the front, which is actually adjustable right behind the wheels here. I think you can see it, this bit down there. You can actually adjust that, which increases downforce on its max setting if you're into that type of thing. Let's hop in, show you guys what the interior is like on this car. All right, now the interior on this 992 GT3 is basically what you'd see in any 992 911 Carrera, which is an awesome feature because it could do 655 around the Nuremberg and also has AC and Apple CarPlay. This is the 6-speed version of the 993, which I recommend getting. 992, I'd recommend getting if that's your thing, because it's just so much more enjoyable to drive. The shifting, the experience, it almost feels like you have unlimited RPMs when you're driving this car because it maxes out at 9K RPM out of that 4-liter flat 6 engine. That 4-liter flat 6 pumps out 502 horsepower, the same amount as the 991, and does about 350 pounds of torque, which is, in my opinion, kind of low for this car. But you have that massive rev range all the way up to 9,000 RPM. This model is fitted with the matte carbon fiber all across the interior. You see it on these door sills here, around the steering wheel, as well as right here underneath the actual the front display. All these buttons are just fantastic to use. All your AC controls are here. The touchscreen is super responsive. You can configure drive modes on the steering wheel. The first for a 992. We'll give it a little exhaust note here. This one sounds fantastic. I think much better than the previous model, and you feel that experience when you're piloting the vehicle. Looking at the central tack and displays, you have the tack in the middle, which is iconic. Apparently this is going away for the facelifted 992.2 generation, but I do like that manual tack with the yellow accents around the side and a guards red interior. These screens, these are all customizable and change based on what setting you're in. You can actually have the normal version if you'd like, or program it to torque or whatever. You know, it's all customizable based on what you're looking for. All right, let's get it on the road. This car also comes with the optional automatic front lift, which I think is about a $2,000 option, and it's worth every penny. It also has GPS built in, which means that anytime you click that front lift, it will save the location if you'd like and automatically go up. See, save smart lift. It can do that automatically for you. And will lower the vehicle at 40 miles an hour. We're going to start off in track because why not? I mean, overall, that flat six just sounds so good when you get on it, especially around the 6,000 to 9,000 RPM mark. It is a just engrossing sound. It's amazing the way they've been able to engineer that exhaust note. And this is like one of those only cars where you almost want to hear the engine more than the exhaust. It's definitely not a common thing amongst sports cars that cost $225,000 like this one does. The handling is so fantastic. You just feel like you're in so much control even at those high speeds. Also a first for the GT3, this brand new 992 has a double wishbone suspension and 100% ball joints in the front, 50% in the rear. A first for a GT3 car. And that's straight off of the RSR race car. I mean, there's so many race car bits that are included in this car, from that, you know, basically that manually adjusted wing to that front diffuser that you can change if that's your thing. A lot of work, but just feel so much more control. And the brakes, oh, the brakes are great. It's so very interesting how they're able to squeeze out basically all the performance out of that flat six. I mean, it feels like there's nothing wasted. There's no efficiency lost when you're driving the car. And it's just this feeling of control. You don't feel like you're missing anything. And I just love that about Porsche. It feels like all their cars are like that. Right now we're in track mode, and honestly, we don't need these stiff dampers here. The shocks can be nice and loose. Now, I've never driven I have actually driven a 991 GT3, but never the GT3 RS. The GT3 991 was, you know, a bit softer, kind of easier to drive. It's a car like I feel like, you know, is much more easier to drive on a daily basis. This one kind of feels the same, although it's slightly stiffer, I'd say. It's slightly more race car and less, you know, commuter if you live in a warm place. But there's nothing like that manual GT experience on a GT car. It's just something special about it that, you know, only Porsche can really do. So interesting, the throttle response. This engine, by the way, has 100% individual throttle bodies, which means you basically lose no thermodynamic efficiency. Back to the efficiency. It's pure efficiency with this car. It's hey, this is what we're gonna do, and we're going to reach that amount, whether it's torque, whether it's the engine, whether it's the aero, we're gonna get that out of the car no matter what. And the way the car handles is just so fantastic. I do feel in control at all times, although you feel a lot of bumps in the road. You can feel kind of that cornering bumps, cornering speed is there. It's just kind of like an in control car, even if you've never driven any type of, you know, kind of race car. You also have to get used to this massive wing in the rear. It's kind of a funny like shape when you look at it through the rear view. You can see the swan neck. You can see kind of that flat wing. You see all the surface area that gobbles up that air so you can create more downforce and just overall better handling around the corners. You feel that throughout the vehicle. So amazing the way that flat six hums. I also love the shift lights in the shift lights in the middle. You can see them blink blue when it's time to go up, and you know you're trying to pay attention to the road, so it's not something that, you know, generally you'd notice in other cars. Either you have the shift lights in the steering wheel like Ferrari does, or whatnot, but I actually like how it surrounds the tachometer and blinks blue when it's time to shift. Something that you see in cars like an F1 car, with that type of driving experience. The throttle response is just that good. I mean, you put a little pressure on it or a lot of pressure, you feel it. I mean, you seriously do. And that's the beauty of a naturally aspirated 4-liter flat six. So now that we're just driving here and I go into normal mode, right? Sport exhaust is off, auto blip is off, the chassis is in sport. It's just, you know, kind of easy to drive. It's nothing crazy. Let's test the turning radius here. You get rear wheel steer. Oh man, I could do that just all day. Going to sport, because I like driving in sport, but you know, taking the shocks off so you don't feel every single bump in the road. But yeah, I mean, overall driving impressions, I know like we're not on the highway or anything. It's Porsche personified. It's a GT car perfected. It's really everything you'd want in a 911, and it has 3 pedals. It's just, it's almost perfection, right? Downsides. I really wish the car had more torque, especially in the manual variant. For some reason, I think Porsche de-torques the car in the manual variant, because this only does 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, I think, in the manual. The PDK is like 3.3. So we're going to test that right now. See if I can get this thing launched. Get a little wheel spin there. Launching the car, man, that's so much fun. Now, downside here of this car being in Florida, not many curvy roads. This is about the curviest road that I can find in my area, and you know, like, this thing really needs a mountain pass to drive to get the full advantage and driving experience of. Just going straight on the highway is not its forte, I'd say. It's definitely built for a windy road or for the Nürburgring. So, you know, in general, I'd say where you live definitely impacts your capability to take full advantage of everything that Porsche has designed and placed in this car. That cornering speed, though, that I took earlier right off the launch, I mean, you just feel in control. That's what it is. Like, you feel comfortable, and the rev ranges and having that ability to go all the way up to 9,000 RPM is just, it's really incredible. It's something that, you know, in a car like this suits it so well. If a 3-pedal is your thing, this is your car. I mean, the PDK is cool, no doubt. Leave the PDK to the RS, right? Leave it to the crazy track weapon. This car, you need that 6-speed. I'm telling you, it is so much more fun. It's such a more mechanical way to drive the car. It's such a more inflated, or just a better way to drive a vehicle. Having 3 pedals, having full command and control of the shift experience, it's just better. It just really is. Yep. Fantastic. Well, not much else to say about this car that hasn't already been said. You're looking for a track weapon that you can also drive to work, maybe get the PDK. But this is it right here. This is that car. This is something that you will not be disappointed in. The experience is fantastic. And it's just incredible the way Porsche is able to get so much more out of a vehicle with the same engine, with only 10 pounds heavier. Just something about that is so appealing and inspiring, and you gotta appreciate their ability to draw as much efficiency out of a vehicle, its powertrain, its chassis, its aero, all of those things with slight improvements add up to a 6:55 Nürburgring time. And, you know, even if you don't take this car to the track ever, it's so much fun to rip on a road like this, and you will not regret getting the stick. I'm telling you, you will not regret having 3 pedals in this car, especially if it's a touring. You know, you kind of want to be more low key. But I'd say overall, you know, this is Porsche piece de resistance of the 992. We'll see what happens with the facelift, but they have already a great start to this type of GT car for 2023. With that being said, I appreciate all your love, all your comments, all your subscriptions. If you feel like I've earned a subscription, don't hesitate to hit that subscribe button. It really helps me, helps you guys as well, because you know then I can produce more videos like this, gain access to cars such as this 992 GT3.